A rancher swore to no strangers under my roof and a baby who can't breathe. Snow erased the road and the fences. The wind pushed the wagon and rattled the lantern. Lila bent over the reins. Ice bit her cheeks. The baby beside her gave a thin cough. In the back, her son wrapped his arms around his sister and tried to be brave. Almost there, Lila said, though the words froze. The horse stumbled. A dark shape rose out of the white, a tall gate of timber and iron. Snow crusted a sign. She brushed it and read, "My house, my rules." She had heard of this place. A rancher who kept to himself. A man who did not take in strangers. Hard, they said. Fair, some added. None of it mattered now. The baby's breaths were thin and far apart. Lila pulled the bell rope. For a moment, nothing. Then a lantern moved behind the fence. A rider came out of the storm and stopped on the other side of the bars. "This is private land," he said. "Turn back if you can." "We can't," Lila said. "Please." The baby's chest hitched, then went shallow and strange. Lila's stomach dropped. She touched the small cheek. Cold. Too quiet. The rider leaned closer. His eyes were winter grass. He took in the tired horse, the children, the way Lila held the baby as if something were about to break. His gaze lifted to the sign. He seemed to argue with it. "My house," he said, testing the words. "My rules." "Then make a rule that lets us live," Lila said. He swung down. Boots thudded in the drift. A key turned. Hinges groaned. He pushed the gate and stepped to the wagon. "Cole Archer," he said. "Follow my lead." "Keep the little ones close, Lila," she said. "This is Sam and Ruth and Eli." Her hands shook on the blanket. "He can't breathe, right?" Cole lifted the baby with quick, careful hands and listened near the tiny mouth. Snow ticked on wool. His jaw tightened. "Stay with me," he said to the baby. He latched the gate and moved fast up the path, not toward the bunkhouse lights but toward a low side wing with a heavy door. He stopped there, hand hovering over an iron lock. A pause, heavy as a memory. Then he turned the key. Warmth and a clean smell poured out. Alcohol, metal. A narrow bed. Glass front cabinets. Cole laid Eli down, peeled off the wet blanket and hung it on a peg. He snapped open a case, fitted a clear mask, and began a steady squeeze and release, borrowing air for a child who could not take it alone. "Hold his head," he said. Lila obeyed. Sam stood still. Cole counted under his breath. Lila saw a pale scar on his wrist, like a watch that used to be there. A harsh rattle came from Eli's chest, then a cough, small but fierce. Tears warmed Lila's cold face. "That's it," Cole said, quiet and firm. "Come on, Eli, stay." The small ribs lifted and fell. A trace of color crept back, faint as morning under snow. Eli's fingers twitched. The mask fogged and cleared with each breath. Cole checked the pulse, nodded once, and set the pump aside without removing the mask. He drew up a dose from another kit, gave the medicine, and raised the bed. Outside, the storm hammered the walls. Inside, warmth and focus. Lila let out a breath she didn't know she held. Sam's shoulders dropped. Cole set a timer and watched the rise and fall. He wiped his hands and hung the stethoscope back. "You and the kids can stay in the front rooms," he said. "You'll follow my rules, curfew, chores. No one opens this door without me ever, do you understand?" "Yes," Lila said. "I broke my own rule tonight," he said. "I don't break rules." "Thank you," Lila whispered. "Don't thank me yet," he said. "Storm's not done, and the town will have its say." A gust struck the windows. The lamp swung and steadied. Eli's chest rose and fell, thin but steady. Lila set a finger on his chin and felt the faint push of breath. Cole checked the timer and the mask seal, adjusted the fire, and opened a door into the front rooms. A table, a hearth with ash pushed aside. "You'll bed down here," he said. "I'll bring dry clothes and food. After that, we set schedules." "We can pull our weight," Lila said. "We will." He nodded once, glanced toward the locked room, then back to Lila. "You came to the right gate," he said. Even if the sign tried to say otherwise. Another gust roared. The house held. Eli breathed. For the first time that night, Lila felt the storm meet a wall that would not move. Dawn came thin and gray. The storm eased, but the cold stayed. Lila woke on the rug by the hearth with Ruth under her arm and Sam at her back. Then she heard the soft hiss from the side wing and remembered the mask, the timer, the man who moved as if every step had a rule. She rose without sound. The bolt on the wing door sat firm. Lila pressed her palm to the wood, not to open it, only to feel the life beyond it. Eli's breath steadied her. Bootsteps crossed the porch. Cole came in with folded clothes and dry boots. Snow dusted his hat brim. He set the bundle down and looked at the children, then at Lila. They slept, he said. They were worn out. He moved to the stove. Fire, kettle, cups. He set oats to boil and checked the time. How is he? Lila asked. Better, he said. Slow but better. He stays on the mask until his lungs stop fighting. Can I sit with him? In the chair by the door where you can see through the glass, he said. When I'm in there. He poured hot water over the grounds. When they wake, he said, food first, then chores. This is a working ranch. We won't be idle, Lila said. He nodded. Rules, he said. My house, my rules. Curfew at sundown. No outbuildings without a hand. Don't go past the south fence. Use tools only after you're taught. Clean what you dirty. Say where you are. And nobody opens the side wing without me. The last rule stung. That room saved my son, she said. I'm grateful. I have reasons, he said, eyes flicking to a pale band on his wrist. He set a ledger on the table with a stub pencil. List what you take from the pantry, he said. Note the hours you and the kids work. We'll settle when the road opens. Thank you, she said. Sam sat up and blinked. Is that for us? For you, Cole said. Wash first. What are our jobs? Sam asked. You'll help me clear paths, Cole said. Then the feed room and hay sled. And me? Lila asked. You said you've worked cattle. I have. We'll check fences and calving pens, he said. The vet left notes. Can you read them? I can. He drew a quick map. Stay in sight of a hand, he said. If you can't see anyone, call out. What about Ruth? Lila said. She stays inside, he said. Sort the pantry. Labels out. Old to the front. No knives. Ruth nodded, full of purpose. Cole checked the timer, unlatched the wing, and slipped inside. Lila sat in the chair by the door. Through the glass, she saw Eli breathing steadier. Cole adjusted a dial, then rested his hand on Eli's foot for a heartbeat. The careful touch undid her more than any soft word. When he came back, she rose. Thank you, she said. Pay me with the work, he said. Outside, the day brightened to hard white. Cole handed Sam a shovel and kept one for himself. Edges first, he said. Then the middle. Straight lines. Lila pulled on her boots and followed Cole to the fence line. Boards hung crooked with ice. Hold the board, he said. She braced while he drove the nail in 3 clean hits. They worked without talking. The map of the place unfolded. Barn, pen, windbreak, wellhead, and the south fence to the coulee. At the calving pen, a heifer bawled. Lila climbed in quickly. A cord sat wrong. Her hands remembered. She eased, turned, and helped the calf to the straw. The calf shivered and found breath. Cole watched from the rail. He passed her a dry sack. She rubbed until the coat fluffed. The heifer nosed and claimed the calf. Cole nodded. You said you could, he said. I can, she said. They reset 2 more boards and checked the gate hinge. The sky cleared to a blue that hurt. Lila's muscles ached in the right way. Back at the house, Ruth had made neat rows. Labels out, old to the front. Cole looked in and gave a grunt. Curfew at sundown, he said. Hands eat early. You and the kids eat after in here. In here, Lila repeated. There will be talk, he said. Keep your head down and your work up. Lila thought of the sign at the gate. She thought of Eli breathing and of a man who broke his rule and looked like it cost him. Pride and gratitude pulled against each other like 2 horses hitched to the same load. All right, she said. We'll follow the rules. Outside, the wind scraped the eaves. It already knew rules bend when the next hard choice comes. Morning work took the chill out of Lila's hands, but not the knot behind her ribs. The knot was the wing door. She could not stop hearing the hiss of the mask. Every time the timer clicked, she looked up. Cole moved between rooms with a map in his head and a pocket watch in his palm. He set the pace with quiet checks that made everyone stand straighter. By noon, the sky was deep blue. Steam lifted off the horses. Lila carried warm mash to the heifer and her new calf. The calf butted, lips milky, legs unsure. Cole joined her at the rail. "You work clean," he said. "Clean is safe," she said. He tipped his chin toward the pasture. "Yearlings spooked in the night. They'll want to bolt. I'll show you the handling yard after we eat. The boy can watch." "Sam can do more than watch." "He will," Cole said, step by step. They ate at the table while the hands took theirs in the cookhouse. Ruth set bowls, proud of her rows of jars. Coffee and stew made the rooms feel less like someone else's life. "How long will the road stay closed?" Lila asked. "Until the county plow reaches us," Cole said. "Another day if we're lucky." "And town?" "Town has ears," he said. "Let it listen to the wind." After lunch, he checked the timer and slipped into the wing. Lila sat by the door and watched through the glass as Eli slept. The mask fogged and cleared. The small chest lifted in a steadier rhythm. Cole's hand stayed light. He recorded numbers on a card and pinned it to the footboard. Beside the card lay a narrow ring on a leather thong. When he came out, his face was closed. "Can we lessen the mask?" Lila asked. "An hour on, 10 minutes off," he said. "We'll try at 3. "At 3? She repeated. He handed Sam a short rope. "We'll start slow," he said. "Keep the line loose. Your body tells the horse before the rope does." Sam nodded. The handling yard sat behind the barn, a circle of planked fence with sand under snow. Cole stepped in and waited. A dun yearling pranced at the edge, head high. Cole did not chase. He lowered his gaze, turned his shoulder, and walked. The yearling's ear flicked. The animal's feet matched the man's quiet motion. "Can I try?" Sam asked. "Stand where I stood," Cole said. "Feel your legs. They are roots. Don't stare at the eyes. Watch the shoulder. Keep to the inside." Sam did as told. The yearling skittered, then settled. She fixed a loose board while Cole and Sam worked. The silence and scuff of hooves wove into the day. When the sun lay long lines across the yard, Cole checked the watch and said, 3. They went in. He washed, set fresh gloves by the door, then opened the wing. Lila took her seat. He eased the mask away. Eli's breath held, wavered, held. 10 minutes. Cole's hand hovered, but he did not touch unless the breath went wrong. It did not. "He's fighting less," Lila said. "He's stronger," Cole said. "But we stay strict." After 10 minutes, the mask went back on. Eli fussed, then slept. "Ruth can read him a story from the doorway later," Cole said. Soft voice. "Chair stays outside." He set a log on the fire, shut the door, and motioned toward the porch. From the ridge, the spread lay quiet. A thin line marked the south fence where drifts fell away. The wellhead pipe glinted near the windbreak. Cole pointed. "That is the water the bank wants," he said. "Why? It's clean, deep, enough for pasture and sail. The man who wants it thinks people are a valve to turn." "Dalton," Lila said. She knew the name and the rumors. Cole said nothing. He watched the fence line. They went back down as the first star stirred. At sundown, curfew started. The hands ate. The clink of spoons came from the far room. Lila washed dishes. Ruth stacked kindling. Sam wrote his hours in the ledger. Lila added hers, Fence checks, calving pen, pantry sort, yard board. Cole read the entries and put a tick beside each line. He set the pencil down and sighed. Nothing to fix tonight, he said. Tomorrow we'll ask for more. Tomorrow always does. He almost smiled once. Before lights out, Lila stood by the wing door. She did not touch the bolt. She whispered a thank you no one needed to hear. The house settled. Ash fell softly in the hearth like gray snow. Night closed around them, held at bay by wood fire and a man who kept time with a watch and a memory he would not name. Morning broke clear and hard. From the porch, Cole checked the south fence with his glass. The line held. The wellhead stood still, rimmed in frost. Lila brought 2 mugs. He slept, she said. Eli breathed without the mask for 15 minutes. Cole did not smile, but some strain eased. We keep the schedule, he said. Quiet, steady. Engines sounded up the lane. A county truck, then another with a bank logo. The dogs barked once and went quiet at Cole's whistle. Ruth peeked from the curtain. Sam stood straighter. Lila's hand tightened on the mug. 2 men got out. One wore a brown sheriff's jacket. The other wore a city coat and a tan scarf, his smile all teeth. Morning, Archer, the sheriff said. Sheriff Pike, Cole answered. He looked at the other man. Dalton Hale, the man said, offering a hand. 2 quick checks and we're gone. Cole did not take the hand. Say your checks. Complaint about the well, Dalton said. Diversion, unsafe storage, and a note from Child Services. Reports say a woman with 3 minors is here. Folks worry after a blizzard. We are fine, Lila said. Pike lifted both palms. Routine. My well is code. My house is stocked, Cole said. You can view both from where you stand. Privacy can look like secrecy, Dalton said, eyes sliding to the side wing door. You'll see the pantry, Cole told the sheriff. You won't step in the wing. Understood, Pike said. Inside, Ruth showed neat rows. Pike looked at firewood, stew, beds, and the ledger with hours. Children look healthy, he said. Warm, fed. We work, Sam said. Dalton drifted near the wing like a moth. I hear you keep old equipment, he said. Sometimes old equipment isn't safe. Lila moved between him and the door. My son is resting. Of course, Dalton said. They went to the well. Cole unlocked the meter box and showed readings as plain as beans. He pointed to the seal, unbroken, the runoff line, the grate, the padlock that held through the wind. You run sales off this? Dalton asked. I sell water I don't need, Cole said. Some say you hoard it. Some say things to buy cheaper. The sheriff snapped his pen shut. Looks good, he said. Sign here, Mr. Archer. Cole signed. Dalton did not. What about the lady and the kids? Dalton asked on the porch. Names? Lila Hart, she said. Sam, Ruth, and Eli. We're here until the road opens. Snow melts, Dalton said, tapping one of Ruth's small boots. Word spreads faster. He left. The bank truck crawled down the lane like a fox. The house felt colder. Cole shut the door and set both palms on the table. A frame by the hearth lay face down. He checked the watch, then the wing. Lila took her chair and watched through the glass as he eased the mask, checked numbers, and set a small stuffed lamb by Eli's arm. Yours? She asked. Was, he said. By afternoon, talk blew in. A hand that had gone to town came back tight-lipped. Hale told the cafe you've got a woman in your private rooms and a baby, he said. Says you're unstable since the accident. Says folks should keep an eye. Cole's mouth closed on something he did not say. We keep working, he said. Near dusk, a white county sedan turned in. A woman in a neat coat stepped out with a clipboard. "Child services," she said. "I need to see where the children sleep and the medical care provided." Fear pricked Lila's skin. "You'll see the beds and pantry," Cole said. "You'll speak to the mother, and to me. You won't enter the wing." "My order allows me to assess safety," she said. "You can assess from here." The worker looked in at the hearth, stacked wood and clean bowls. She saw Ruth's rouse, Sam's lined boots, Lila's steady hands. "May I speak with the children?" she asked. "Right here," Cole said. Ruth answered gentle questions. Sam spoke clearly. Lila kept her voice calm. When asked about the baby, Cole and Lila told the truth. Mask, doses, schedule. The woman wrote notes. "I'll file this," she said. "We may return." When the car left, night fell fast. Lila watched the taillights shrink. "Why do they call you unstable?" she asked. Cole turned the frame by the hearth face up. A woman held a baby under cottonwood leaves. A second frame lay behind it, glass spidered from an old fall. "Because I lost them," he said. The house went very quiet. "We'll meet the town with facts," he said at last. "Work, records, witnesses will leave nothing for rumor to eat." Lila nodded. "Then we make a record," she said. "From this hour on, we start with tonight's entries." Evening settled sharply and blew. The wind shifted. Lila felt it in the door crack and in the way Cole stood on the porch, head tilted toward the south fence. The hands finished supper and went to their bunks. Curfew held. Cole checked his watch, then the well log. Yesterday's number sat beside today's. The change was small but not right. "Flow dipped," he said. "Could it be ice?" Lila asked. "Not at these temps," he said. He put on his coat. "We look now before tracks drift." "I'm coming," Lila said. He handed her a headlamp and a small notebook. In the wing, Eli slept with the mask on. They stepped into the night. Snow squeaked. The sky was glass. At the meter box, Cole brushed frost away. The needle sat low. "Someone bled the line," he said. They followed the buried pipe toward the windbreak. Beyond it, drifts scalloped into the coulee. Cole knelt and found a faint cut, filled back. "Here," he said. A dark hose snaked from the drift, ran under the fence, and vanished in scrub. Moonlight hit a metal coupling. "They pulled from the drop line," Lila said. "And sent it downhill," Cole said. "Less pressure here, more share in the creek." He scraped frost from the coupling until numbers showed. He spoke to them. Lila wrote. "Pictures," he said. She lifted the field camera. The muffled flash blinked. She shot hose, coupling, trench, and boot marks. Cole cracked a cap at a T and drew water into a jar. He taped the lid and wrote the time. "Why not pull the hose now?" she asked. "They'll come for it," he said. "If we leave it, we can watch." Down the coulee, the hose met a pump half buried in snow. It sat on skids. A small muffler wore rags. More numbers. More photos. More notes. "Tire tracks," he said. "Chains, light half-ton. Which way?" "Service road." He checked his watch. "They'll come when they think we're asleep." "Then we won't be," Lila said. Back inside, Lila warmed her hands and checked Eli through the glass. Cole set the jars in the cold room and slid the notes into an envelope. He spread maps on the table. "2 ways in," he said. "Up the creek bed from the county road or the service road through the old cut." "Snow drifts against the east wall," Lila said. "Shallow on the floor." "Good, we'll see silhouettes." He left a line for the night hand. "Stay near the barn. Keep the dogs quiet." 2 collies would go, 2 would stay. "On horses?" Lila asked. "Truck will bog," Cole said. "We ride." He saddled the bay for himself and a sharp mare for Lila. He tied a rope to his horn. Lila tucked the camera and notebook inside her coat. They rode with no talk, only the chuff of hooves. The collies ranged ahead, shadows that slid and stopped. At the edge of the cut, Cole raised a hand. The dogs melted to the ground. A low glow lay by the coulee turn. A truck with hooded lights idled there. Cole sent her left and slipped right. They moved ridge to ridge with frozen grass between them and the glow. Voices carried thin on the cold. 2 men. One coughed a laugh. "Foreman," Cole breathed. They reached a shelf above the pump. Below, a man in a shearling cap untaped the hose. Another held a flashlight in his teeth and smoked. The smoker wore a canvas coat with a bright stitch, the same color as the bank truck logo. Cole pointed to the patch, then to his palm. "Remember." Lila nodded. She raised the camera. The cloth made the flash a faint blink. The smoker turned. "You see that?" "See what?"
Thought I saw. Nah, they worked faster.
The hose came free coil by coil. The pump fought when they tried to lift it. One man swore about Daryl's cheap chain. Names clear as bells. Lila caught them and held them. Cole let them haul. He looked at the tracks and mouthed plate digits as the truck backed in. Lila repeated the numbers until they stuck. When the men were gone, Cole and Lila slid to the pump bed. He ran a glove over a nick, then the serial plate. The plate was new. The frame was old. He took a picture of the mismatch. "Sloppy," he said. They pulled the rag from the muffler and sealed it in a bag. Diesel and winter gas clung to the cloth. "Enough?" Lila asked. "Enough to start a fire in a cold room," he said. "Tomorrow we make it burn." They rode home under a sky bright with ice. Behind them, the tracks told a story the town would not want to read aloud. Dawn comes pale and thin. The house is quiet but awake. Lila warms her hands on a cup and watches Cole lay out the night's haul. Taped jars, a rag sealed in a bag, photos spread like cards. He writes times and places on each piece. "This is our map," he says. "Anyone can walk it." Sam lines the photos. Cole phones the vet, the well tech, and the fence foreman. He asks them to come and tell the truth. Each says yes. They will come soon. Lila writes a clean account of the night ride. She keeps sentences short and names clear. She lists tools, numbers, and the words the men used. The vet arrives first. From the wing doorway, she listens to Eli and nods. "The mask has done its work," she says. "He's improving." She signs a note that the care is sound. The well tech stamps snow from his boots. He walks the pipe, the meter, the cut, and the pump bed. He reads the serial plate and laughs once at the mismatch. He takes his own photos and samples, then signs a sheet. Seal unbroken until last night. Hose added by outside hands. Drawdown fits siphon. The fence foreman studies tire marks and the chain scar on the skids. "That's Daryl's chain. I filed that nick myself," he says, and writes it down. Cole clips each affidavit into a folder. He adds Lila's notes and the pictures. He pins the rag bag beside the pump page. He lists the items. Then he opens a new folder and lays the ranch ledgers in it. He flips to the well log that shows daily flow for years. He adds water sale receipts, tax forms, and the permit with the well number circled in red pencil. "We lay our house bare," he says. "Rumor dies in daylight. What about Eli?" Lila asks. "What if they say a stranger is not safe here?" Cole draws a breath and pulls a form from his desk. "Emergency medical guardianship," he says. "Temporary. Allowed when a parent asks a named adult to help." He fills the lines with steady block letters. He writes his own name as the temporary guardian. Lila reads each word and signs. Cole signs. The vet signs as a witness. He makes copies and stamps them with the ranch seal. One goes under the wing room door. One goes to Lila, one goes in the court folder. "Now we tell the town," he says. "How? By publishing what matters and nothing more." He sets the well logs, the guardianship, and a short statement by the front door so anyone can read. The statement is plain: a child needed care. I gave it. Our water is legal. Our gates are open in daylight. The hands add their own lines about where they were, what they saw, and what kind of man Cole is. Then they sign. At noon, the child services worker returns. She reads the statement, the logs, the guardianship, and the vet's note. She looks through the wing glass. Eli sleeps, Pinker. Do you understand this form and ask for this help? She asks. I do, Lila says. It saved my boy. The worker signs forms received. Child stable. No hazards observed. The sheriff arrives with a polite knock. He listens to the well tech and the foreman. He reads the plate numbers Lila wrote and says, I know that rig. He takes copies and gives receipts. Tomorrow morning is the hearing, he says. 9 sharp. We'll be there, Cole says. Town will be too, the sheriff adds. After he leaves, Cole checks the wing. He lifts the mask for 10 quiet minutes. Eli's lungs do small, brave work. Lila hums from the threshold and Ruth holds the stuffed lamb. In the late light, Cole and Lila rehearse. They do not practice speeches. They practice steps. He asks a question a judge might ask. She answers with facts and stops. He flips pages. She points to the right one. They time themselves. When the lamps are lit, Cole hangs his old photograph back on the wall, not face down, but straight. We walk in with our heads up, he says, and with our papers in order, Lila says, and with the truth, Sam adds from the table. Night gathers. The folders sit by the door, squared and ready. The wind can blow. The town can talk. In the morning, they will answer in a room with walls and rules and a clock that does not care who loves gossip. Eli's breath steadies under the soft hiss. The house holds its heat. The sign at the gate does not change, not yet. But the meaning has shifted, my house. My rules, tell the truth. Do no harm, help the small breathe. They left before dawn. Snow crunched under boots. Cole carried the court folders. Lila walked beside him with her chin up. Sam and Ruth stayed with the hands. Eli slept under the vet's watch. Town sat low under a hard sky. The courthouse was brick and square. People lined the steps. Heads turned as Cole and Lila climbed inside heat and echo. Dalton waited with a lawyer. His foreman, Darrell, kept to the shadow by a bulletin board. The judge entered and everyone rose. She was small with gray hair pulled back. We have 2 matters, she said. A petition about 3 minors and a complaint about water diversion. Dalton's lawyer spoke first. He used fine words that curved like wire. He said Cole kept a child in a locked room. He said Lila drifted from ranch to ranch. He said the baby was at risk. The judge held up a hand. We will use facts, she said. Ms. Hart, Mr. Archer, documents. Cole rose. He set a folder on the rail. Well, logs, permits, tax records, he said. He set another. Affidavits from the vet, well tech, and fence foreman. Photos of a siphon rig and cereal plates. Time-stamped samples. Lila stepped up with a third folder. A written account of the night ride, she said. Plate numbers and the words the men used. And this. She held up the form. Emergency medical guardianship. I asked Mr. Archer to help my toddler breathe. The judge read. She asked the clerk to mark each page and pass copies. The room went quiet. Call your witnesses, the judge said. The vet went first. She spoke in simple sentences. The child was ill. The mask and medicine were right. The wing was clean and safe. The lawyer tried to press her. We are in the present, she said. The child services worker read her note. Home warm. Pantry stocked. Children cared for. Forms proper. No hazard observed. The well tech took the stand. He pointed to photos and jar labels. He explained the meter seal and the drawdown. He said the cereal plate on the pump did not match the frame. He said the hose was cut into the drop line by outside hands. If Mr. Archer wanted to steal his own water, he could do it easier and never leave tracks, he said. Darrell stared at the floor. The fence foreman testified. He named the chain nick and the way the skids were dragged. He named the tire width and the brand that left that flat print. He named Darrell as the man who owned that chain. Speculation, the lawyer said. It is my work, the foreman said. I look at marks until they speak, Sheriff Pike spoke. He read the plate numbers Lila gave and matched them to a truck licensed to Hale Ag Services. He said he had taken copies and samples. No charges yet. He wanted the hearing to finish. Ms. Hart, the judge said, tell me what happened at the gate. Lila told it plain. The sign, the warning, the baby gasping, the man with a scar who turned a key and chose breath over pride. She kept to facts. When she finished, the room was quiet. She could hear the clock tick. The lawyer tried a new line. "Ms. Hart, did you leave bills unpaid in another county?" "I paid what I could," she said. "I have records of the rest." She held up receipts. The judge took them. "Mr. Archer," the lawyer said, "you broke your own rule." "I did," Cole said. "I broke it because a child could not breathe. Some rules are good until they stand between a small life and air. Are you unstable, Mr. Archer?" "I am a man who buried a wife and infant," he said. "I keep order so I can help when help is needed." Dalton shifted. "He sells water out from under neighbors," he called. "Sit down, Mr. Hale," the judge said. She looked at the folders. She tapped the guardianship form. "This is clean," she said. She tapped the well logs. "This is legal." She tapped the photos and the rag. "This is evidence, Mr. Hale. Your complaint about the child is dismissed. Your claims about the well do not match these facts." The judge raised a hand. "Foreman Darrell, approach." He stood, pale. "You will remain to speak with the sheriff," she said. "We are not done with skids and hoses and midnight rides." The gavel fell once. Outside, people made a lane. Some touched a cap. Some looked away, not ready to unlearn what they had enjoyed thinking. Cole did not smile. Lila did not gloat. They walked down the steps with their papers squared. The wind smelled like snow and something clean breaking open. They did not stop for coffee or talk. They walked to the truck, set the folders on the seat, and drove out of town. The sky was pale and empty like the judge's desk. Lila kept both hands tight in her lap. Cole drove steadily, eyes forward. On the ridge above the ranch they paused. The gate stood where it always stood, wooden and iron, and snow drifted around the posts. The old sign hung there, "My house, my rules." The words felt different now. They parked. The dog sprang to meet them. Sam and Ruth ran from the porch. Lila hugged them both. "We did it," she said, small with relief. "We told the truth, and it held." "Is Eli okay?" Sam asked. "He slept," the vet called from the doorway. "And he is stronger." Cole thanked her. He moved to the wing and checked the mask, the chart, the pink in Eli's cheeks. Then he set the pen down and came back into the main room. "Child Services will close the case today," he said. The judge dismissed the claim and asked the sheriff to pursue the siphon. "What happens to Dalton?" Sam asked. "The sheriff will do his work," Cole said. "We will do ours." The hands came in from the barn to clap once on the table and grin. One slid a sheet toward Lila, a list of who would testify if called again. The second brought a box. Inside lay a wooden plank planed smooth and sanded clean. "For your sign," the man said. "If you want it different." Cole ran his thumb along the edge. He did not speak. He set the plank on the table and looked at the gate. Lila brewed coffee and set bread and stew on the stove. She poured for the vet and for Cole. When she handed him the cup, his fingers touched hers. He did not pull away. Ruth brought the ledger. "Do we still write our hours?" she asked. "Yes," Cole said. "We keep our habits." He flipped to a fresh page and wrote, "Court hearing, travel, testimony, review." In the afternoon, the sheriff's truck rolled in. He set down papers for Lila and for Cole, copies of the judge's orders. "Case closed," he said to Lila. "On the children, my office is satisfied." He turned to Cole. "As for the siphon, we questioned the foreman." He named names. "We sent a notice to Hale Ag Services for tampering and theft. Dalton did not come. A messenger in a bank coat left a short letter at the gate and drove away." Cole read it once and handed it to Lila. It said nothing important, only smoke. "We regret any misunderstanding. We hope the community can move forward." Cole folded it and slid it under the leg of a wobbling bench. Later, Cole walked to the shop and set the plank on sawhorses. He measured, penciled the letters, and steadied his chisel. Chips lifted in clean curls. The dog slept in the doorway. Lila stood nearby and sorted screws. "What will it say?" she asked. "Not yet," he said. "I'll be sure when I'm done." They took turns with Eli, chair by the door, reading in soft voices. The mask hissed and paused and hissed. At the 10-minute mark, Cole eased it off and watched. The boy did not falter. Once Eli opened his eyes, saw the stuffed lamb, and made a small sound like a laugh. When dusk flattened the snow to gray, a few neighbors drove up and stopped at the gate. They read the statement and the logs by the post. They tipped caps and drove on. One left a sack of apples on the rail. Another left a jar of honey. Truth travels slow, Lila said, watching taillights fade. But it keeps walking. It does, Cole said. He brushed the last curls from the plank and held it up. The letters were sharp but not cruel. He ran a cloth over the grain and oiled it until the wood shone. Tomorrow, he said. We'll put it up tomorrow. Night settled. The folders sat on the shelf, squared and calm. The old photograph stayed face up. Cole tapped the frame once, not in grief but in promise. He banked the fire. Lila checked the locks. Sam and Ruth rolled into blankets and whispered about calves and courtrooms. Cole turned down the lamp. He stood by the wing door and listened to a child breathe right in the dark. Then he went to his bed and slept. The storm had come and gone. The rules had bent and did not break. A sign waited on sawhorses. Dawn would bring a hammer and a nail, and the first day of the rest of their work together. Morning rose clear as glass. Frost laced the windows. Cole woke early, checked the wing, and found Eli sleeping without the mask for 20 minutes. He stood and listened, hands still, as if the sound could set a new rule inside him. Lila brewed coffee. Ruth fetched the ledger. Sam pulled on boots. Today we set the sign, Cole said. They ate quickly. The vet stopped by and smiled. He's on the turn, she said. Keep the air moist and the doses small. We will, Lila said. Cole lifted the plank from the sawhorses and carried it to the porch. The letters shone dark. He ran his thumb across them once to feel the grain. Can I help? Sam asked. You drive the first nail, Cole said. Ruth can hold the level. They walked to the gate as the sky went pale blue. The old sign swung, heavy with years. Cole set it down on the grass as if laying down a burden. He climbed the ladder with the new board. Neighbors slowed on the lane. The hands came up from the barn and stood quietly. Lila held Eli in a blanket at the fence, his head under her chin. His breath warmed her collarbone. Cole tapped the first nail into place and looked down. Level, he said. Ruth sighted along the bubble. A hair to the left. He nudged, then drove the nail true. Sam drove the second. The sound carried down the white road like a small bell. Cole stepped down. Then he read the words out loud, steady. My house, my rules. 1, no lies. 2, no cruelty. 3, no one faces a storm alone. Lila felt the sentence settle. It felt like a bridge. A neighbor in an old blue truck tipped 2 fingers. Good rules, he said. About time someone carved them big. He passed along the lane. They hung the old board inside the barn above the tack hooks. It did what it could, Cole said. So did I. Work filled the morning. Lila checked the calving pens. Sam and Cole moved yearlings, small steps, quiet hands. Ruth wrote labels for jars without names. At noon, Cole spread a paper on the table. Tenancy, he said. If you stay as paying tenants. Month to month. Clear rent, clear duties. You keep your own say, Lila read each line. It spoke of repairs and wood and pasture shares, of nights off and the right to the front rooms. It said nothing about the wing except one line. The medical room opens only when breath is on the line. She looked up. I agree, they both signed. Ruth watched, wide-eyed, as if names could build a room. After lunch, 2 kids from a ranch downriver arrived with apples and a question. Can we learn the circle yard? They asked. Pa says Mr. Archer can quiet a skittish one without a fight. Cole's shoulders softened. You can watch, he said. Then try. He taught them as he taught Sam. Stand like a tree, watch the shoulder, breathe even. Lila leaned on the rail and rested. Eli slept in her arms, heavier now in a good way. In town, talk kept moving. Some still muttered. Some offered quiet nods. The cafe set out 2 pies and wrote on the chalkboard, Coffee for those who choose truth. The sheriff posted a notice about the siphon, and a fine late afternoon brought a thin, beautiful thing. Laughter. The hands told a story about a bull in a flying hat. Cole shook his head, almost smiling. The house loosened. As the evening settled, Cole and Lila walked the fence one last time. The snow made small sounds. Stars prickled. The new sign caught the moon and held a stripe of silver. I used to think rules kept people out, Cole said. Maybe the right ones keep harm out and invite the rest in. Lila touched the rail. Harm and help both knock, she said. You taught me to hear which one. They stood a long minute without speaking. Breath steamed and faded. The dogs lay at their feet. Back inside, Ruth read by the chair. Eli stirred and sighed. Lila tucked the blanket and kissed his hair. Cole set another log on the fire. Tomorrow, he said, we ride the north fence, then fix the lambing pen hinge. We, Lila repeated, and the word fit. The house clicked and settled. Outside, the sign kept its watch. Inside, 3 rules hummed like a new heart. Work waited. Winter held. Hope stayed. After supper, a knock came at the door. The pastor from town stood on the step with frost in his beard. He did not preach. He handed over a basket of oranges and said, "For the children." He looked at the new sign, nodded, and left. The days passed, steady as fence posts, cold eased by inches. The sun cut through the white and made it glare. Work filled the hours and left no room for ghosts to take root. Lila learned the bends of every path. Sam and Ruth learned who to ask, when to wait, and how to carry their weight without being told twice. Eli breathed easy now, cheeks round, hand tight on the stuffed lamb's ear. One morning the wind rushed warm from the west. Ice let go of the eaves and fell in soft chunks. The creek woke up and spoke under the bank. Cole stood at the gate and watched water move, as if it were a held breath finally released. "Chinook," he said. They opened the upper pasture. Yearlings bucked and ran like ideas set free. Cole let them go, then brought them back in a slow arc without shouting. He moved his fingers barely, and the herd turned as if they had felt a thought instead of a rope. In town, the sheriff posted a new paper, fines paid, siphon seized, and an apology that did not use the word sorry. People read it, shrugged, and went on with their day. Some nodded at Cole when they passed on the road. Some waved at Lila. The cafe sent out a sack of rolls with a note that said, "Next time, bring the little ones, huh?" Cole walked Lila through the lambing pen hinge and the way the latch should sit. She oiled it and worked it until it clicked without a scrape. The sound pleased them more than it should have. It meant something simple was right. A neighbor's truck rattled in near sundown. A man got out quickly, breath ragged. "Mare's down," he said. "It's turned wrong. My boy's scared." Cole did not look at the wing. He looked at Lila. "You ready?" he asked. "I am," she said. They threw blankets and a kid in the bed and drove hard along the 2-track. The sky burned pink, then purple. In the neighbor's barn, a mare lay on her side, eyes wide. A small hoof showed at an angle where it should not. A boy stood there, still as a gatepost and shaking like a leaf. "It will be all right," Lila told him, voice even. "We'll help her turn." Cole took the mare's head and spoke to her low. Lila scrubbed, reached, and found the leg that needed easing. She moved slowly, patient as a prayer, until the bend gave and the foal slid into straw. It shivered, took a breath, and sneezed at the dust. The boy laughed once, the sound of a tight string suddenly loose. "Good work," Cole said to both of them. The neighbor wiped his face on his sleeve. "I owe you." "No," Cole said. "We each keep the rules. You'll come if we're the ones in a storm." Back at the ranch, night lay clean over the yard. The new sign caught the truck's lights and shone. Cole parked, then sat with his hands on the wheel for a moment. He did not say why. He did not have to. Inside, Ruth had drawn 3 roses on a scrap and taped it to the wall beside the old photograph. The lines were simple and true. Fire glowed in the stove. The house smelled like stew and wet wool and wood smoke. They ate with the doors open between rooms, not from need now, but because no one wanted them closed. Sam told the story of the mare and used his hands for the angles. Ruth asked if the foal would get a name. Cole said that was for the neighbor to decide. Lila smiled and kept her thoughts to herself. Later, when the kids slept, Lila stood by the window and watched the snow let go in the yard. Cole joined her. They did not touch. They did not need to. I kept that room locked for years, he said softly. I thought I was keeping the dark out. You were keeping the light out too, Lila said just as softly. Now it's a lamp. It turns on when it needs to and then it rests. He breathed once, steady. That's the right rule. They went to the porch. The night had the vast feeling of the plains when winter starts to loosen. Somewhere down the road a coyote called and another answered. The dogs lifted their heads, listened, and went back to sleep. Tomorrow we add a line to the ledger, Cole said. Not about work. About thanks. What words? Lila asked. He thought for a moment. Thanks to the small who breathe. Thanks for a sign that tells the truth. Thanks to neighbors who can learn and unlearn. Thanks to those who stay. She nodded. I'll write it in my hand, she said. And you can sign. I will, he said. In the morning they would ride the north fence and count the new calves. They would fix a loose hinge and teach a quiet step in the circle yard. They would swap the winter boots for the spring boots when the mud came. They would keep a chair by the wing and a key on a nail, and a rule on a board big enough for anyone to read from the road. The house did not turn into a church or a clinic. It stayed what it was, a ranch with chores and paydays and long days and a gate that meant what it said. But the air inside had changed. The old silence that once held grief now held rest. The rooms had room for more than fear. When they finally turned in, Lila checked Eli and tucked the lamb close. Cole set his watch on the table and did not touch the face-down frame, because it was not face down anymore. He looked at it once and the look was not a wound. It was a promise kept. Snow fell in soft threads before dawn, the last of the season. It landed on the fresh letters at the gate and melted there as if the wood were warm. The rules did not keep the world out. They kept the right things in. No lies, no cruelty. No one faces a storm alone. If this warmed your heart, like the video, subscribe for more frontier stories. Drop a comment. What would you add as rule number 4 at the gate?